used to get hundreds, possibly thousands of CVs, all from people who have been on various courses, mainly attached to spread betting, CFD trading, spent a lot of money on these courses, sheer skills gap elements all over the place, they weren't work ready. So we looked at that industry and said, look, let's bring back some integrity to the market, let's create a employer-led qualification, let's address these skills gaps and recognise that not everyone wants to be a trader. It's as simple as that. There are so many transferable skills from being a trader, but it doesn't mean everyone's cut out for being a trader. Some are, some aren't. Some want to, some don't. It's as simple as that. So we set up with our awarding body a level 5 advanced diploma in financial trading. It was the first one of its kind. It's 100% portfolio led. What that means is that there's no exam. Everyone generally looks pleased by that. But what it does mean is that there's 100% consistently evaluated and point systems that go along with the actual qualification itself. All of the knowledge that you learn is immediately applied into live markets. We work closely with vendors. We have tier 1 trading systems. We use real-time data, because the whole aim of this qualification is to make you professionally competent. At level 5, if you go away from trading and go into financial institutions, it's also relevant to being a trainer for a financial institution, you can take on what's called a controlled function position with the FCA. Tomorrow we launch our level 3, which more supports supporting roles in trading. And over the last 6 months, we've been involved in something that's going to affect all of you guys in here, which is the trailblazing work around the apprenticeship standards. I started trading in '97. I was a financial advisor. I sold a trader a pension. I went backwards and forwards because he wasn't paying his premium. A little old guy come up to me with 2 carry bags full of rubbish and said, "Young man, can you follow me?" I thought he was the janitor, so I followed him down. He then walked into his office, which I thought that's impressive for a caretaker to have an office. Sat down, I realised that he was the American billionaire who owned the company. "Tell me about yourself, Rob. Why do you want to become a trader?" I didn't even know I was there to talk about that. I told him my name, my age, he fell asleep. Simple as that. He had 2 photos on his desk, one of his daughter wearing a tennis uniform, one of his son wearing a martial arts uniform. So I said, and whilst I was travelling, I subsidised my income, teaching tennis, teaching martial arts. He woke up, said, "You're lying to me, you start on Monday." The world has changed since when I started trading. So now we're going to look away pathways into trading and how it has changed and how competitive is this industry, what's going on with the industry, and how do you differentiate yourself, or what's different about you. A lot of you currently in work, but this will get to a point which is relevant. Simple. How competitive? Very. If you believe what you're reading in newspapers, if you look at Goldman Sachs, 250,000 CVs per position in a front office position, incredible. There's thousands of applicants, limited supply of jobs, obviously, and a lack of suitable positions. The lack of suitable positions is causing problems for the government because overqualified people are having to step back into other roles, taking roles that people coming up the ladder should be taking. 3 times more likely that a young adult will be unemployed than going further into your career. We've also got the traditional barriers to entry. Financial service industry generally recruits from small segments of the industry, of society, mainly from elite universities, top 8. 1/3 of all entrants are educated independently. It's only 7% of schools. Good news there, banking sector is slightly more balanced and more diverse. So how is this now shaping the markets? Drive by employer-led qualifications. Unfortunately, universities are letting people down in terms of being work ready. Academically, no, it's great. We've got one of the best education systems in the world. But in terms of being work ready, there's been a slight fallback. So the universities and colleges are addressing that. They've become more flexible. Companies have got their corporate social responsibility agendas. They also look at their equality and diversity and inclusion agendas. Similar to ourselves, we're looking beyond what we currently look at in the market, rather than going through, to the red brick universities, trying to branch out, widen participation, go out to disadvantaged areas, try and level the playing field. If you become a trader, the trader will level you straight away. It's a very level playing field when you're staring at numbers going up and down and you're concentrating on your P&L. The government has deemed that it's going to address social mobility for education and career opportunities. That's very much in line with our own thinking at Divento. And we talked about seismic things going to happen in the market. Everyone in trading, in financial institutions, has been looking towards MiFID II. All concentration has been on MiFID II. They've missed out that in April of next year, the government's drive for apprenticeships. They're bringing in the apprenticeship levy. That are the stats on current apprenticeships, just under 1 million, but it's going to something called standards. There's only 3,800 people currently gone through standards. How that's going to come in? Any company that has a £3 million yearly payroll, over 3 million, which is 2% of UK companies, doesn't sound a lot, but by 2020, when they're driving to take on 3 million apprenticeships, it's going to be in the billions. It's not a tax, so the government say. But if you don't spend that money on training, within 2 years, so 24 months, that money is gone. First in, first out. That's the rule of the levy. It can only be spent on apprenticeship training, which has to be 20% of the time off-site. So your companies that you currently work with will suddenly get hit with a tax in April that they have to pay. There's no getting out of it. They can pay that only on something called standards. A standard is an occupational job role, for instance. There's a roadmap of the role, the knowledge, skills, behaviours that are involved in that role. So as graduates, as employees, don't misunderstand the word apprenticeship. When we, some of the guys that I know in here have been in the industry as long as I have, and even longer, apprenticeships was deemed as, when you left school at 16, you took on an apprenticeship role and become an electrician or a plumber. That has changed. Apprenticeships now are targeted to everyone. Whether you've got a degree, you can do another degree. Whether you've got a degree, you can then do a master's, or you can do it straight from A-levels, you can do it as an employee, it could be a perk, but 20% of your training has to be off-site, and the company has to pay that on a standard. So you can't just say, well, I'll pay their payroll, I'll pay for their insurances. Has to be specific things. The government's guidance on this is very, very specific. So as a company, we work on a trailblazing standard. We actually work on two. We work on the Financial Services Advanced, no it isn't, degree apprenticeship, and we also work on the Masters. What we've done cleverly, there's 23 companies and it's chaired by Barclays. We've recognised you're only allowed to spend money on one standard. So we've created a core and options model. The core is recognising similar KSBs, which are the knowledge, skills and behaviours, of various roles throughout the industry, so retail banking, commercial banking, investment banking, management, operations, insurance and workplace pensions. We specifically have concentrated on investment banking, where we've created the standard as a breakaway group of 4 of us within the Trailblazer. Within that, the job roles are trader, sales trader, analyst, risk management, institutional marketeer. So if you are in any of those job roles, this doesn't come in until April of next year. You've got 6 months to get ahead of the game, to approach your boss and say, look, this is coming in next April. You're going to have to spend this money, otherwise it goes to the government as a tax. They have to spend that money on your training. This particular one for the degree is a 36 months. So it's a 3-year program. You've got to spend 7 months off-site in training as part of it. With the Masters, it's a 2-year. The standard one for the degree now sits at stage 2 with the government, and we're at stage 1 with the Masters. There's only currently 25 standards in existence. There's the retail banking management one, where you need a level 3 entrance. Now, this is the important bit. As you look to go up your career, if you're changing jobs or you're trying to get a job within financial services, the standards can work as a roadmap, a targeting map for you to approach your CV differently and say, right, how do I make myself go up the ladder? How do I get onto the Masters? How do I get onto the degree? If they're going to pay for you to get another degree and guarantee you 3 years of work, it's worth taking. They also pay for all the education. That's what's going to make this industry very, very competitive. Universities, further education, very panicky about what's going to happen in April. So they're all looking to go towards this standard and apprenticeship degrees. Knowledge, skills, behaviour. So what knowledge is in the standard? Is it a degree? Is it a professional qualification? All of these standards will have qualifications built into them, because that's what you're spending the money on the training. So what qualification is mandated to that specific standard? If you've already got that qualification, you're very, very marketable to the person who's going to possibly employ you or promote you. Certainly if you're looking at control function positions, where usually institutions go, you've got 2 years, get these exams done. Well, do you have to take 2 years? Not really. You can get them done in months. Skill sets. As I said, the standard is a job role. That's all it is. It will tell you exactly what the job role is, what the KSBs are, what the options are, what you need to achieve at the end of that. It could be 1 year if it's just a normal apprenticeship, but 3 years in our case, or 2 years the Masters. Core competencies. This is what anyone would look for. Honesty, integrity, clearly. But adaptability, resilience and enthusiasm, definitely towards trading. I mean, we'd add on to that, we'd add on patience. I won't use the words we use in the office, but someone who can demonstrate that they can handle risk or prepared to risk. That's what trading is about, risk reward. Curiosity, you have to go in, you have to want to learn things. I heard earlier, it was Steve was on earlier and saying about asking your boss why you did your job. You have to be curious. That's the only way you're going to go on further. You have to be curious and ask questions, because then you will push on. Attention to detail. So, although this doesn't pertain to you trying to get your job, this is what's going to happen in April. This will allow you to switch jobs into, if you want to go down the trading route, if you want to become a trader of some description, there are various roles of trading, or using those transferable skills. Now is the time to start talking to your boss, make them aware that this is coming in April, because in March, on that first hit of their PAYE, they've got a very big bill coming their way. So they can decide to invest that in you, or they will invest it in someone else. But you now have the knowledge to go to them and say, this is happening, what are you going to do about it? I kid you not, most of them won't even have heard of it, but it's coming in April. So good luck with your future careers. I hope that was useful.